we're leaving with a full tank of fuel, but the rain is quite intense. Well, we have spent a lot of time in the pits already. Oh! Welcome to the 9th round of our FIA GT Championship 1997 in Automobilista 2, where today we see the first of the two flyaway races in the US that will end the season, as tonight we're going to go racing at Sebring. In real life, this was the third rain-affected race that year, as again it started on a dry track with quite heavy rainfalls later that race. In real life, this was another win for the number 11 Mercedes of Bernd Schneider, while the number 8 title challenger from McLaren was in some self-inflicted trouble after promising pace in qualifying. Lehto tried to climb back to the points after early race incidents and spins when his car caught fire in dramatic fashion. For the number 9 of Cox and Ravalia, it was another good points scoring result. In our race, the championship is already decided in our favor, but this one will literally be a bumpy ride still. And with heavy rain on the horizon, this one will still be a very exciting race. The goal for this one, therefore, is to just survive and make it to the finish line. So, just a quick look on the starting grid right now, where we see that we will start this race from P6, as usual, reflecting the real starting position of our car. Strong qualifying by the two David Price panels, as that car makes a return, as the mod has been updated in the meantime. And as you see the second half of the grid, it is time to go racing at Sebring. Well, and here we are, preparing for the start, coming out the final corner, Sunset Bend, which is a super exciting but awkward one. But we will encounter this one later this race. Well, the end of lap 1, as we get a pretty good start, and we are already alongside Martin Brundle, who qualified very high up with the Nissan. They had a dreadful season so far. As there is contact from someone behind, that was one of the Gulf McLarens, and there is a heavy lockup there into one of the very early corners, and this is terrible news because we will have to live with a massive flat spot from lap 1 onwards. The only saving grace here is that we're expecting a pit stop quite soon, in which we will have to change tires to wet tires, presumably. And of course, I also started with a bit less fuel, so I short-fueled the car at the beginning of this race, because I know that there will be a pit stop quite early on, as rainfall is expected late on the brakes here into turn 10, as we are trying to find a way past Martin Brundle, who is not giving in and actually trying to challenge for what would be a podium position at the moment. Ahead of him is Andy Wallace in one of the David Price panels that were very good this year already in rain-affected races. Also, in this one, one of the David Price panels stood on the podium in real life, so this could actually be a fantastic race for them as we make it out of turn 16, Le Mans, going towards Sunset Bend for the very first time. This is a fantastic overtaking opportunity, but a very awkward corner where I think multiple lines are possible, and well, I can't really figure out a racing line. We take to the outside here alongside Martin Brundle. We are early on the power, and actually we find a way past the Nissan R390 that is still in the points now, up to 4th. Now 2 panels ahead of us. Bernd Mailänder in the lead Mercedes has, well, I can't even properly see him anymore. He is signed off and going for a second Mercedes win this season. Well, there we were able to see him as we are alongside Andy Wallace. It's awkward here. This corner tightens up at the end. We were alongside, but there was just no room, and now we have compromised our exit. This could also be a great overtaking opportunity into turn 7. The hairpin. As we are late on the brakes, we try to find a way alongside again. We lock the tires a bit. There is a bit of squealing, but we are past the panels and up into the podium positions. Next up is Wallace's teammate David Brabham. Oh, and it's a big lock up there into turn 10. And our front right, it's completely done. And this is also one of the issues. If you have a flat spot, you are more likely to lock up again and make that flat spot burst. It's a bit of a vicious cycle, this one. We need to try and escape this and manage this tire until we inevitably have to stop when it starts raining. Well, for the moment, we're making it through the Le Mans corners. This time we get a fantastic is a bit much, a good exit out of here. Just checking the strategy. Slipstream, we should be faster in a straight line than the Paynars, and towards Sunset Bend we go. This time we were on the inside. I didn't really dare to be late on the brakes because this is a corner that you can where multiple things can go wrong, especially there is a very big bump in the middle of it. So yeah, I never really trust this corner too much, as we are getting a fantastic run on the pit straight. Round the outside we go off David Brabham, and out of turn 1 we momentarily take P2. He gets the better exit though. Now we're on the outside for the next one. And again this tightens up. Oh, we even have to leave the track. And that means he is ahead of us again. A good run into the hairpin could give us an opportunity. Well, there might have been one, but there was not enough space to get our car alongside. Now there is. Down the inside we go. Another lockup, and that front right is not looking good at all. And especially in the first sector where there is lots of left-hand turns, this is an issue. Luckily, most of the corners here are right-handers, so it's not that much of an issue. But in the first sector, this corner, this front right tire is really a pain in the ass already. As we jump ahead in time a bit, and you will see what I was mentioning as we are starting another lap here in this race with just under 10 minutes gone. So from here again, we should be able to make up some time, but as you were able to see, that first sector, dreadful. Constant understeer, no grip, and it's not fun to race with this car anymore, but there might be some saving grace, as you might be able to see on the windshield already. There are some drops of water. I turn the windscreen wiper on because it's time to go into the pits. Maybe. Well, I will certainly go into the pits because I don't want to race with that front right any longer. And we know it will be a quite lengthy pit stop because we have to refuel, and I will top the fuel up because I think there might be a chance to go to the end of this race with that pit stop. Let's see what the AI is doing. Bernd Mailander will surely be coming round the pit lane right now. But he has stayed out, and so will everybody else. So this is a bit of a gamble, what we're doing. We jump ahead in time. It was a very long pit stop, as I already predicted, with all 4 tires having to be changed and the fuel having to go in. We're leaving with a full tank of fuel, but the rain is quite intense. Well, we have spent a lot of time in the pits already. Oh, as immediately out of turn 1 I spin it on the wet track. I expected a bit more grip, because it felt quite okay in Silverstone and Spa, where we already encountered rain. This is very slippery here through the first sector, and again, it is horrible. The car's just all over the place, sliding everywhere. Power application, which isn't easy with these cars in the dry, is even more of an issue right now. Well, let's try to have a good rest of the outlap, but we will have lost a lot of time. A, by a very long pit stop. Don't know if the AI will need to stop that long. And B, well, I had a massive spin in the horrid first sector, so, yeah. Let's see where we filter out. Well, and there we are, coming around the final corner. The rest of the lap was much better, a bit tentative, but I think this is to be expected in these conditions. As we're passing the pit lane now, and this is not looking good. We can see a lot of cars filtering out on track ahead of us. And by the time we pass the pit exit, we are 23rd. But miraculously, somehow still close to the two Paynors. As again, this is the first sector where I've been struggling on my outlap. Struggling again, half losing the car. I just catch it, but that is both Paynors now ahead of us. They must have had terrible in-laps or terrible pit stops. Don't know what the issue was there, but they were running third and fourth ahead of our pit stop. Now they are down here with us, out of the top 20. So, big issue as I run wide through the hairpin, and that makes my afternoon much worse as Christophe Bouchot is through in the Crema Porsche, and behind me is now Pierluigi Martini. He's an old acquaintance from our F1 1991 season. This time, well, he's my opponent as I repass him. But yeah, really trying to keep the car on track. Here I feel much more comfortable, and I think you can even see that by the way I'm driving here. And yeah, I mean, the visibility, look at that, is horrible. You can just barely make out that there is a car ahead by the two small red lights coming through the mist there. As I run a bit wide there, just catch it and stay on track. And now, look at the visibility here. Look at that, I can't even see. I can't even see the red lights now. I duck out of the spray to be able to somewhat see where the corner is because it... Oh, terrible. I feel like this is much worse than any of the rain we had in Spa and in Silverstone. Visibility was never that poor in these races. Of course, we are way down the order now. In these two races, we were pretty much at the front all the time. Well, yeah, it is what it is now, and we will have to live with it. Again, through the first sector we go. That looks a bit better now. But here, getting the power down out of these corners here is nearly impossible. Look at that. I have to be super careful to not lose the car. I almost did there. And that allows Bouchot to go through. But we are close into the hairpin. Do I dare to be late on the brakes? Well, I wasn't late on the brakes, but I released them. Almost run wide. Can I stay ahead of Bouchot? I can. Somehow. I must imagine that he ran wide as well, but Oh, there's Pierluigi Martini putting me under pressure behind me now. But yeah, we managed to settle in 24th for a bit. And I got into the flow with these conditions. So let's see if we can improve our position. Ahead of me now, Jean-Luc Maury-Laribière in the BBA Competition McLaren. And we're trying to chase him down. The Paynos are now going really well in these conditions. They are making up ground. But again, they were fighting for the podium ahead of their pit stop. I really wonder what did go wrong for them. But well, that should be the least of my concern, as still, on the Almond Straight, visibility is absolutely horrible. Again, I duck out of the slipstream to be able to see where the corner is. That looked good. And they were all very slow as I dived down the inside and make that move work somehow. Now ahead of us is one of the Nissans. This is Riccardo Patrese in the number 32. Also, actually, I am wrong. This was Katsuyoshi Hoshino in the number 33 Nissan. I do apologize getting the names wrong here. But we make our way past him as well. As I turn down the fuel, because I think we still need to save a bit to make it to the end without another pit stop. I think it's feasible, but we will need to start to save some fuel every now and then. Well, that was a bad point in time to do that ahead of the longer straight, as Hoshino just dives down our inside. I try to be late on the brakes, run wide, and that is that Nissan through yet again. Well, that was a little love tap in Hoshino's rear. That came out a bit wrong. But anyway, we are passing up to P22, and as you can see, the rain is easing a bit. It will not stop. It is not as heavy as before, but the track will remain wet pretty much till the end. As still, first sector, I almost lose the car. But yeah, as the rain is getting a bit better, I really found my rhythm in these conditions. And let's see what is still possible in this race, because look at ahead of us. A lot of cars are there, and they are quite close together. Still, just under 20 minutes on the clock. So, let's see. This could still be a fun finish to this race. And maybe, well... I don't want to dream of a top 10, but these guys are all very close together. So, yeah, let's just see what is possible. But I really feel the confidence now, again, that I lost. Or, well, actually never really had on this track, in this race at least, because, yeah, I had a flat spot from pretty much turn 3 onwards on the first lap. So that never really was a pleasant experience, which is a shame, because I really like this track, and even in the wet it is still quite fun once you get in the rhythm. But, well, maybe I got a bit too confident. Let's look at that. I tried to carry a bit too much speed through turns 15 and 16. Spin around, I actually, go back on track. Pierluigi Martini couldn't stop in time and hits us into the side. There is a bit of damage to our car. I don't think it's too bad. Car's still going straight, still going okay. But we have lost a lot of time. In P23 we only lost one position, but at least 7 seconds. Through Sunset Bend we go. This is also a corner I felt too comfortable about, as I am very early on the throttle and I managed to spin a second time in this lap, and I think this is now all the hope gone for another good result. We're lucky that we are already the champion of that season, so yeah, not too bad as we jump ahead in time a bit as I run wide here, and then, well, somehow I'm beginning to find out here I'm stuck in second gear. I can't shift up, I can't shift down. Look at that. Yeah, trying to change into any other gear, and actually I'm not sure whether this was a hardware issue or actually something broke with the gearbox in game. I had it that I was missing some gears. I never had it in Amos 2 that I was stuck in gear, and still I don't know if that was a hardware issue or something breaking in our car. But anyway, I come into the pits here to retire because there was just no point in continuing on with just second gear. So yeah, disappointing race, this one. But nevertheless, let's look at the point scorers of this race. And Bernd Mailänder, he got absolutely everything right, led from start to finish and won that race. A second win for Mercedes this season. Pierre Raffanel with a very good result for the Gulf McLaren team. Then it's the two Works Porsches. Bernd Schneider also finishes in the points, and Martin Brundle finishes in the points for Nissan, and therefore now every car in the season has scored at least 1 point. And here are the standings. No changes for the top two in the Drivers' Championship, but Bernd Mailänder is now in third. Steve Soper, who was very strong early on in this season, dropped down to 6th in the meantime. Pierre Raffanel enters the top 10 with his P2 finish. And in the Teams' Championship, it is Team BMW Motorsport still in the lead, and now officially the champions, as Porsche could score a maximum of 20 points with their 3 Works entries in the final race of the season, but Team BMW then would still have more race wins, so we are also the team champions with 1 more race to go. AMG Mercedes in third. They might still be able to challenge for that P2, and then behind them it's very, very close, and any point scoring finish could decide the battle for 4th in the final race of the season, which will take place at Laguna Seca in 2 weeks time. Subscribe to not miss that, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.